So if you're feeling stuck, frustrated, bored, and depressed where you currently are, take that as a signal from your body. Our bodies are always talking to us. If you're still stuck in a soul-crushing job, ask yourself why. Usually it's to do with fear and scarcity. I don't know if I can get anything better. I don't know if what I really want to do is realistic or doable. Maybe that's not for you. Maybe that's for other people. It doesn't really work out for you in that way. And so you stay stuck. You stay stuck in a place which isn't for you anymore. You've outstayed your welcome. I have had the experience of working in jobs which I stayed in for way too long. All right, and I became bitter. I became resentful. I became the kind of person that I didn't want to be. I reach a point where I get so shitty and I know that it's bad for my health to even be there anymore. I think that what is often the case is people don't suffer enough, right? When something kind of hurts, it's like, it's just how it is. This is just what I do. This is my job. It's kind of sucks, but I'll get out of it one day. And one day turns into a year, 2 years, 3 years, and you know the rest. The thing that is a blessing and a curse that I have, and perhaps you have, is I suffer way too much. Often in roles that people hate, they don't hate it enough, right? They don't suffer enough, right? In the jobs that I really hated, I began to suffer a lot, all right? And it basically was the catalyst to push me out of that role, okay? Because I needed to do something else for my health, all right? So I spent a year working at a job where I held day options for people with high-level disabilities, all right? Adults. And in that role, I was assaulted. In that role, I had to do toileting in like near 40 Celsius heat with flies buzzing all over my face. We often had to wear fly nets just to keep the flies from like completely invading us. And I also held overnight camps where I was the only one out there for kilometers and like 3 or 4 other participants, where I was hanging out in a church that was built in 1840, hanging out in old crappy cabins, having the worst night's sleeps of my life, and being visited by ghosts. Yeah, whether you believe in them or not, it's only when you have your own experiences that you're like, oh, okay, there's more to this. Anyway, I digress. I spent a year in that job and I fucking hated it. It really took that 1 year of working in that role. I lost years of my life, all right? My hair actually it started thinning anyway, but I reckon I started thinning majorly after that role, right? So when we stay in jobs that are just not for us anymore, we risk our health, right? And our health is the only thing we really have. That's like it's number one, right? It's the most important thing. But we stay stuck proving ourselves in a role that could replace us in a day, okay? That's a very important point. Is your job something that could you be replaced, right? Could someone else do your job? Or are you the only person for that role? Often it's the case that you are replaceable. I'm not trying to sort of take away the importance of the work that you do, but in the end, most of us are replaceable for the jobs that we do. And so basically, life is already really hard sometimes. Life is short, but a really shitty job will make life harder and shorter. It might actually take years off your life. In fact, there is a study out there somewhere that says that people actually lose years off their life working a role that they hate. It might not be in those exact metrics, so don't quote me on that. But it makes sense, right? It makes sense that if you're putting your body through stress and you're putting your body through like this kind of sense of like resistance. You're resisting a job. You're always in a state of like fight or flight, right? Anxiety before work, during work, it's just, we're not able to relax. If we're not able to relax, then we're not going into a parasympathetic nervous system state where we can rest and digest, which is better for our health, better for our longevity. If you're still here, you know that you're probably in a role that, or you resonate with being in a role that is not really something that you enjoy very much. And you might have an inkling, a bit of an idea of what you want to do instead, but you're putting it off. Ask yourself, why are you putting it off? Like, just understand the hard truth that one day often never comes. So here's the lessons that I figured out from working shitty jobs and learning a lot along the way. I don't regret working at these roles, but I probably stayed in some of these roles longer than what I needed to. All right, so what could have been a difficult lesson turned into a really difficult lesson. All right, so I learned to not outstay my welcome. Even if it's a sidestep to another company, right? Sometimes change is as good as a holiday, and we need to make that change. Even if you're still not doing quite what you want to do, but where you are because of the people, because of the boss, because of the clients, whatever. You just need to change. You need to change it up. So there is nothing wrong with a sidestep. The other thing is, you can work on your passion, your side hustle, whatever, what you really want to do in the meantime. Because doing little bits every single day is enough. I have been doing this for a year where I'm doing little bits. I'm still working a job which I actually enjoy these days. It pays the bills, but it's not quite what I really want to do is this, right? Make content, sharing my wisdom, sharing my knowledge, and work with people and help them out of difficult situations and find more direction, right? More direction in their life and take consistent action on what actually lights them up, what actually makes them feel passionate and excited to be alive, right? Because that's what I've been trying to find for myself for years, all right? And I've found that, and I can work a job while also doing this, all right? Because I take small actions every day on this, all right? It's not about doing massive amounts of work. It's taking small actions every day on what you're truly passionate about. Sometimes that alone can bring life and new energy into your current job, right? Even if your current job is not where you really want to be. Making space, creating space for yourself to do what you really want to do outside of work, even if that's devoting only 20 minutes, half an hour to that thing. It's enough, right? Even if it's 5 or 10 minutes per day on that thing, it's enough, trust me. So if you're feeling stuck, frustrated, bored, and depressed where you currently are, take that as a signal from your body. Our bodies are always talking to us, all right? And it's not worth the health risk, okay? Staying in a position that you hate is not worth the health risk that you are putting on yourself, all right? The stress. It's not worth it. Life is so short. No one's going to push you to do what you truly want to do, and no one knows what you truly want to do other than you. So don't stay stuck in a soul-crushing job. Take little steps towards a different direction if that is where you're at right now. You'd be surprised how quickly things change when you actually make the decision that it's time to change. Until next time, my friend, take it easy.